So, how do you take a really dense legal rulebook and turn it into a life-saving instinct? Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're not just looking at maritime safety rules, we're actually going to deconstruct how they're taught when the stakes couldn't be higher. We'll break down a training lesson and see how the experts bridge that huge gap between complex text and split-second decisions at sea.
And to really understand why this kind of training is so critical, we're not going to start with a rule. Now, we're going to start with the consequences of breaking one on a dark, windy night back in December of 2015.
So, on the River Humber in the UK, two enormous vessels, the car carrier City of Rotterdam and the freight ferry Primula Seaways, smashed into each other. I mean, the impact just tore open their steel hulls, and the damage ran into the millions of dollars. It's honestly a miracle that nobody was seriously hurt. But the incident, which was laid out in the official accident investigation report, it just brings up this massive question. How do you actually train people to stop something like this from ever happening again?
Well, the answer starts with this incredibly dense international rulebook known as the COLREGs. That stands for the International Regulations for Preventing Collisions at Sea. For anyone navigating a ship, this is basically their Bible.
Just take a look at the language here, and this is just one little piece of it. The entire rulebook reads like this. It's super precise, it's legalistic, and you can tell it's designed to be completely unambiguous, mostly for courts and axe investigators after something has already gone horribly wrong. Okay, but now imagine you're on a ship's bridge. It's dark, maybe alarms are blaring, you've got another vessel heading right for you. You don't have time to interpret legal text. You have seconds to act. There is a huge gap between this kind of complex language and making a decision under intense pressure. So, how do you bridge that gap? It's really a process of transformation. You have to take these dense rules and distill them down into simple, clear training that focuses on the core ideas, using realistic scenarios. The goal here isn't just knowledge, it's about building instinct. All right, let's actually see this in action. We're going to look at a perfect example, a short, really focused training script. Just picture a senior master on the bridge of a ship with a junior officer. So, the training kicks off with a really simple observation from the junior officer. It's not a crisis, it's just a routine situation. They might say something just like this. "Master, I have a vessel on the radar, 4 miles ahead. Looks like a smaller fishing boat." And right away, the master doesn't just bark an order. He turns it into a teaching moment. He asks, "Understood. We are in a narrow channel. What is our primary responsibility according to Rule 9? See, he's making sure the context is clear before any action is taken. And the junior officer is expected to reply not with what they're going to do, but with the rule itself. We must keep as near to the outer limit of the channel, which lies on our starboard side, as is safe and practicable. In plain English, stay to the right. This proves they know the regulation cold. The master then locks it in and adds a really important term. Exactly. We must not impede the safe passage of that fishing vessel. Maintain our position to starboard. That word impede is absolutely crucial. It defines their specific obligation here. And the junior officer's response shows they've got the whole picture. Acknowledged. Even though we are the larger power-driven vessel, we hold our course on the right side of the channel. They've correctly identified their own ship status under the rules. And finally, the lesson wraps up with the master explaining the why behind the rule. Good. This ensures predictability and safety for everyone. And that's what makes it stick. It's not just a command. It's a fundamental principle for keeping everyone safe. So that's simple back and forth. It might not sound like much, but it's an absolute masterclass in instructional design. It's not just a random conversation. It's a carefully built tool for forging instinct. Let's break down exactly why it's so powerful. It works because it cuts out all the noise. Everything non-essential is gone. You've got a realistic scenario, very clear teacher-student roles, a laser focus on just one core rule, only a handful of key terms, and, this is the most important part, it connects that rule directly to the outcome, safety for everyone. First, the script sets the scene with one critical term, narrow channel. That phrase alone immediately tells both officers which part of the rulebook applies and what actions they need to be thinking about. Second, it nails down their main duty with the word impede. In a narrow channel, a big ship's job is basically to not get in the way of smaller vessels that might not be able to move as freely. It's a specific, actionable task. Third, it defines their own ship's status as a power-driven vessel.
And trust me, this is a huge deal, because the rules of the road at sea are all about the situation. Knowing who you are, a power-driven vessel versus, say, a sailboat, determines exactly what you have to do. And finally, all of these ideas are tied together by the ultimate goal: ensuring safe passage for every single vessel on the water. The training constantly reinforces that these rules aren't abstract, they are the actual tools you use to get that job done safely.
Okay, so now let's take this simple, elegant training lesson and connect it back to the chaotic, tragic reality of that collision we saw at the very beginning of this explainer. This is where theory meets tragedy.
This right here is the track chart from the official accident report. See the yellow line? That's the path of the city of Rotterdam. And you can see it plain as day. It's on the northern, or the wrong side of the channel. It's directly violating that simple principle from our training script: keep to the starboard or right side. So that simple lesson we just broke down, keep to the starboard side of a narrow channel, that wasn't just some textbook exercise. In the real world, understanding and truly internalizing that one single principle is the difference between getting home safely and disaster. It's a matter of life and death.
You know, in the end, like this comment from a professional mariners forum says, rules in a book are never going to be enough. It's the effective, repetitive, scenario-based training that turns those rules into pure instinct. And in those critical moments on a dark night, instinct is all you've got. It really begs the question, doesn't it? What other complex jobs, from surgery to aviation, depend completely on that exact same translation of dense text into a life-saving instinct?